If you've been feeling empty, if you wake up every morning and ask yourself, what am I even doing with my life? If you feel like you're just drifting, no purpose, no direction, just surviving, then you've found the right place. I'm not here to make you watch anything. I know you're busy. I know you might not have the time to sit and stare at a screen, so keep doing whatever you're doing, walking, driving, cleaning, working. Just put your earbuds in and let me read you a short book. One that could truly change the way you see your life. This isn't about motivation. It's not about being positive. It's about truth, the kind that hits you deep, the kind that wakes something up inside you. Why do you feel stuck? Why do you feel like something's missing? And why does it seem like no matter what you do, you still feel lost? By the end of this short book, you might just find the answers you didn't even know you were looking for. So stay with me. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Why you're feeling stuck. You're not broken. You're just out of alignment. Let me guess. You wake up every day with a strange heaviness in your chest. You're not in pain, but you're not at peace either. It's like a quiet pressure, a silent whisper that something's off, even if nothing seems obviously wrong. And when people ask how you're doing, you say, "I'm fine." Because what else can you say? It's not like you can explain this invisible fog in a 5-minute conversation. You get up, you do your routine, you go to work or school, you eat, you scroll, you laugh at memes, you answer messages, you try to be normal. But somewhere behind your smile, there's a question that keeps repeating like background noise. Is this it? Is this what life is supposed to be? Because if it is, why does it feel so empty? Here's the truth nobody told you. Feeling stuck doesn't mean you're failing. It means you've outgrown something. Maybe it's a version of yourself that you built just to survive. Maybe it's a dream you inherited from someone else. Maybe it's the way you've been pretending to be okay, when deep down, you've been craving something more. But here's the dangerous part. Most people don't listen to that feeling. They suppress it. They drown it out with noise, routine, and distractions. Netflix, TikTok, gaming, food, scrolling. We build a cage of comfort and wonder why we can't breathe inside it. You know the worst part? You're not even sure what you want anymore. You just know this isn't it. And that's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign you're waking up. Most people never do. They sleepwalk through life. They follow the rules, climb the ladder, check the boxes, only to look back at 40 or 50 or 60 and whisper to themselves, "I think I missed something." You haven't missed it yet. That's why you're here. You're not stuck because you're lazy. You're stuck because your soul is craving change, and your mind is still clinging to comfort. And the longer you ignore that voice inside you, the louder the discomfort will grow. You were not meant to shrink into a life that doesn't inspire you. You were not meant to be another echo in the system. You were meant to build something real. But first, you have to admit the truth to yourself. You're not okay. And that's okay, because this is the beginning. Chapter 2. The Thoughts You Never Chose. You can't find yourself when you've never actually met yourself. Let's stop pretending for a second. Strip away the noise, the opinions, the expectations, the lies you've told yourself just to survive. Let's ask something real. Who are you? Without the programming, you weren't born with self-doubt. You weren't born thinking you weren't good enough. You didn't enter this world worrying about money, success, or if you'd make it. Those thoughts, you inherited them, passed down like invisible chains, From parents who were afraid, from teachers who didn't believe in you, from a society that convinced you to be small. They told you what to value, what to fear, who to become. And somewhere along the way, you stopped asking why. You started thinking thoughts that were never yours. You started living a life that wasn't built by your hands, but by their blueprint. And now, years later, you feel disconnected from the world, from your choices, from yourself. But how can you feel real when everything you've built was based on someone else's idea of who you should be? Let's go deeper. Think about how you define success. Where did that idea come from? Did you choose it? Or was it sold to you in a highlight reel, packaged in likes, followers, and salary figures? Think about your fears. Fear of failure, fear of being judged, fear of starting over. Were those yours, or were they planted? And every time you silence your truth to fit in, you bury yourself a little deeper. Every time you say yes when your body is screaming no, you disappear a little more, until one day you wake up surrounded by a life you don't recognize. And the worst part? You don't even know where you went. But here's the good news. That voice inside you, the one that questions, that resists, that whispers, there has to be more than this. That's you, the real you, the one you've been trying to find. And it's not gone. It's just been buried beneath layers of noise and fear and survival. You don't need to become yourself. You need to remember yourself, because underneath all the thoughts you never chose is a soul that's always been waiting to speak. But first, you have to stop listening to the world long enough to hear your own voice. Chapter 3. Money is not your master. If you chase money to find yourself, you'll only lose yourself faster. Let me ask you something no one else dares to ask. What are you really chasing? Because if it's just money, you're not chasing freedom. You're chasing a leash that looks like gold. We've been brainwashed. From the moment we were old enough to count, we were told to attach our worth to numbers, grades, followers, bank accounts, salaries, status. And somewhere between surviving and trying to make it, you started believing that money equals value, that your happiness, your peace, your confidence would arrive the day your bank balance hit some magic number. So you work, you hustle, you stress, you sacrifice sleep, time, joy, your health, just to make it to a finish line that keeps moving every time you get close. And here's the most brutal truth. It's never enough. Because money doesn't silence insecurity. It doesn't heal childhood wounds. It doesn't answer the question in your chest that whispers, "Why do I still feel empty?" Money is a powerful tool, but if you treat it like your master, you'll live your life on your knees, begging for freedom that never comes. You trade your time for paper, then trade that paper for things you don't need, to impress people you don't like, to escape a life you never wanted in the first place. And if you're not careful, you'll spend 30, 40, 50 years waking up, putting on a uniform, answering to a boss, clocking in, clocking out, only to come home, sit in front of your computer, play some games, watch some shows, and go to sleep feeling just as lost as the day before. And you'll call that life. But that's not life. That's survival with a salary. Let me be clear. Money is not evil. Money is neutral. It amplifies who you already are. But if you don't know who you are, it will only deepen the void you're trying to fill. Freedom isn't earned through more income. It's found in clarity, in purpose, in detaching your soul from your paycheck. Because the moment you stop asking, "How can I make more?" and start asking, "Why do I want more?" you start becoming dangerous. You start remembering you were born with value, not a price tag. Chapter 4. The Silence Inside You. At night, when it's quiet, the truth finally speaks. It always happens at the same time, late at night, when the lights are off, when no one's texting, when your phone is charging and your mask is off. You're lying there in the dark, your body still, but your mind? Racing. And the thoughts start creeping in. The kind you've been running from all day. The kind that hide behind small talk and TikToks and playlists and background noise. The kind that sound like, why does it feel like I'm wasting my life? What if I'm meant for something more, but I'm too scared to chase it? Why do I feel so empty, even when I'm doing everything right? These questions don't shout. They whisper, and the quiet makes them louder. This is when it hits you. You've been pretending you're okay, pretending this job, this routine, this life is normal, pretending you're not craving more, but you are. And it's not more stuff, not more followers, not more money. You're craving connection, to yourself, to something real, to a purpose that doesn't make you feel like just another cog in the machine. But here's the thing. Most people never let themselves feel this moment. They run from it. They numb it. They reach for the remote, the game controller, the snack, the feed, the same old distraction loop. Anything but silence. Because silence? It forces you to face the parts of you you've been avoiding. But that silence, that stillness, isn't your enemy. It's your invitation. Because those haunting questions, they're not trying to destroy you. They're trying to wake you up. They're saying, this isn't your real life. It's the life you settled for. You've been surviving so long, you forgot what it feels like to live. You've been playing small, trying to fit into a world that was never built for your soul. And maybe tonight, you won't push those thoughts away. Maybe tonight, you'll sit with them and listen. Because in the dark, when no one's watching, when you're finally alone with yourself, your soul doesn't want you to be perfect. It just wants you to be honest. You're not broken. You're buried. And this silence you're feeling, it's not the end. It's the beginning of a voice that's been waiting your whole life to be heard. Yours. Chapter 5. Becoming the person you were meant to be. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from truth. There comes a moment, after the silence, after the tears, after the nights where your chest feels too heavy to breathe, where something shifts. Not in the world, not in your bank account, not in your job, in you. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. No fireworks, no thunder, no one clapping for your realization. It's quiet, like a slow inhale after drowning for years. You look around at your life and realize, I built all of this while I was asleep. I chose routines that numbed me. I chased goals that weren't mine. I ignored the voice that kept calling me home. And now, you're not asking for easy answers. You're not looking for a shortcut. You're looking for yourself. That's the first step to becoming who you were meant to be, destroying who you were told to be. And let's be honest, that's terrifying. Because becoming you means leaving behind the version of yourself that everyone else accepted. It means no longer faking the smile, no longer fitting into spaces that drain your soul, no longer staying quiet when your truth wants to scream. It means being misunderstood, It means outgrowing friendships. It means being alone for a while, not because no one wants you, but because you finally stopped settling for half love and fake attention. But hear this, it's worth it, because on the other side of that fear is power. You start making choices from clarity, not confusion. You start showing up as you, not a version edited for approval. You stop begging the world to give you a path and start building your own. And here's the secret most successful people won't tell you. You don't need to reinvent the world. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to copy the patterns of people who've already done what you want to do and add your truth to it. You don't need to create the road. Just find the road and walk it with fire. Because purpose isn't found in one big moment. It's found in the tiny decisions you make every day to not give up on yourself. Even when you're tired, even when you're scared, even when you're the only one who sees the vision. And slowly, the world shifts. Not because it changed, but because you did. Chapter 6. The cycle you're stuck in. Every day. You wake up, you face the same choices, and every day you make the same decisions until you break the loop. Let's talk about the grind. You know what I'm talking about. That routine you've fallen into where every day feels like a repeat of the last. You wake up, you go to work or school, you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. You push through, you make the best of it. You try to feel good about what you've done, but deep down, something's off. Then it's time to come home. And here's where it gets familiar. Instead of taking a breath, reflecting, or taking care of yourself, you sink into your distractions. You sit in front of your computer, maybe play some games, or scroll through social media, getting lost in other people's lives. Maybe you binge watch a show. Maybe you eat to fill the emptiness that's been there all day. It's the same routine, day in, day out. And then you go to bed. Maybe you're exhausted. Maybe you're numb. Maybe you feel nothing at all. But one thing's for sure, you feel stuck. And when you wake up, the cycle begins again. The same decisions, the same distractions, the same numbing. But the problem isn't that the cycle is hard. The problem is that you've convinced yourself that it's normal. You're living on autopilot. And when you're on autopilot, you don't control where you go. You just let life drag you along. And every time you ignore that inner voice, the one that says there's more, there has to be more, you trade a piece of yourself for the illusion of comfort. And comfort feels good for a while. But it's poison in disguise, because it keeps you from growing. It keeps you from asking the real questions. It keeps you from living a life that's fully yours. Here's the hard truth. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're choosing to stay in a loop that will keep you stuck forever. But what if you didn't choose comfort? What if instead you chose discomfort, on purpose? What if you chose to break the cycle? What if you made a choice today to start instead of waiting for some mythical perfect time? Because here's the kicker. There is no perfect time. There is only now. And if you don't start now, if you don't take that uncomfortable step into the unknown, then tomorrow will be more of the same. And the next day, and the day after that. The cycle won't break itself. You have to do it. You have to want it. You have to choose it. So here's what happens when you choose to break free. You stop accepting mediocrity. You stop accepting the noise that tells you to settle. You stop letting your mind wander into distractions, trying to numb out your pain. Instead, you start facing it. You look at the discomfort straight in the face. You welcome it. Because you know this discomfort is the sign of growth. It's the price you pay for a life that's real. And then you start creating your own pattern, a pattern that works for you, a pattern that builds you into the person you know you can be. Chapter 7. The Power of Your Choice. What you choose today shapes the life you live tomorrow. Let's be real for a moment. You've been giving away your power without even realizing it. You've let the world decide who you are, who you should be, what you should have. You've let the expectations, the opinions, and the judgments of others shape your every move. And deep down, you've known it's not right. But you've accepted it as normal, because let's face it, what else is there? The world demands you fit in. It wants you to follow the rules, follow the trends, chase the same things everyone else is chasing. But here's the thing about that world. It's not yours. You weren't meant to follow someone else's path. You weren't meant to live in the shadows of others' dreams. You weren't born to shrink to make others comfortable. You were born to choose, to decide who you are, to decide what you want, to decide how you live every single day. But here's the hardest part of all. You have to stop waiting for permission. You have to stop waiting for someone else to tell you it's okay to chase your dreams. You have to stop asking for validation. You have to stop looking for external answers to your internal questions. Because the power to change your life has always been inside of you, right now. That power comes in the form of one thing: choice. And it doesn't matter how many mistakes you've made or how many years you've spent feeling stuck. Today is the day you reclaim it. Today is the day you stop being passive. You stop being a passenger in your own life. Today, you take the wheel. You begin with the small choices, the small decisions that seem insignificant, but in reality, they're everything. What do you do when you wake up? Do you hit snooze and stay in bed? Or do you rise up and take action towards something that matters? What do you do when you feel stuck? Do you stay in that loop of comfort? Or do you push yourself to move forward, no matter how hard it is? What do you do when you're tired? Do you rest? Or do you force yourself into the same mind-numbing cycle of distractions to avoid facing the real problem? Every time you make a choice, you change the trajectory of your life. And I know it feels hard. It feels like you're not ready. It feels like the odds are stacked against you. But here's the thing about choice. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be grand. It doesn't need to make sense to anyone else. It just needs to be yours. And with every choice, you start to build the person you were always meant to be. The person who is no longer afraid of the unknown. The person who is not afraid to stand alone. The person who creates their own path. You are not powerless. You are not lost. You are not stuck. You just need to remember that you have the power to choose. And it's never too late to choose yourself. Chapter 8. The Moment of Change. This is your moment. The moment you decide to stop waiting. There's a moment in every life, a defining one, where you have to decide, are you going to stay the same, or are you going to change? It doesn't come with fireworks. It doesn't come with applause. It doesn't come with clarity or certainty. It comes in the form of a quiet whisper, a pull, a shift deep in your soul that says, now is your time. And in that moment, you're standing at the crossroads of your life. You've felt the weight of all the years you've spent just surviving. You've felt the emptiness that comes from chasing the wrong things. You've felt the crushing weight of not living up to your potential. But now, you have a choice. You can keep walking the same path, the one where you keep playing small, the one where you settle for what's easy, the one where you numb the pain with distractions, excuses, and the endless pursuit of someone else's dreams. Or, you can choose to take a step into the unknown. You can choose to face the discomfort. You can choose to stop running from your truth and finally live it. Because here's the truth. Change is not something that happens to you. It's something you choose. And every single day you choose to stay stuck is another day you're wasting the most precious thing you have, your life. But when you make that decision, when you choose to walk away from the noise, the distractions, the comfort, you're not just choosing a new path. You're choosing to show up for yourself. You're choosing to bet on your own potential. You're choosing to honor the life that is already inside you, waiting to be unleashed. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it feels impossible. Yes, you'll question yourself over and over again. But here's the part you can't forget. You are capable. You are worthy. You are strong enough to handle the discomfort. You are not just a person who wants to change. You are a person who is changing. And the world will never be the same once you make that shift. Because you will never be the same. You will no longer apologize for your dreams. You will no longer shrink to make others comfortable. You will no longer settle for a life that doesn't set your soul on fire. You will rise. And one day, you'll look back and realize this moment, this exact moment when you felt like everything was against you, was the moment you took your power back. The moment you decided that no one else was going to control your story. The moment you stopped being afraid of the unknown and stepped into it anyway. And in that moment, when the doubt tries to come back, when the fear tries to silence you, when the world tells you to stop chasing your dreams, you'll remember. You chose this. You chose to be the person who is no longer stuck. You chose to be the person who is no longer lost. You chose to be the person who found their voice, their purpose, and their freedom. And in the end, you'll realize that the only thing you were ever waiting for was yourself. Thank you for staying with me until the very end of this journey, and the fact that you're still here. That says something powerful about you. It means you care. It means you're searching. It means a part of you is ready, even if you're scared. But let me be real with you. Listening alone won't change your life. Feeling emotional, inspired, or motivated, that's not enough. If you want something different, you need to do something different. So I want you to take action, right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when life gets easier. Right now. Grab a notebook, open a blank page on your phone, and start writing down, step by step, what you're going to do, what needs to change, where you want to go, what your next moves are. And remember this. There is someone out there right now already living the life you dream about. They already walked the path. They already failed, tried, adjusted, and kept going. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to waste years lost in confusion. You can copy their steps. You can model their mindset. You can shorten the gap between who you are now and who you're becoming. If no one's ever told you this before, then let me be the first to say it. I'm proud of you. So damn proud. You've made it this far. Now keep going. Your future self is waiting. Don't let them down.